Hey everyone, it's Jananie and welcome back to my channel, This Story Ain't Over. Today, I am really excited to tell you that I am starting a book club. So this is something that I've been wanting to do for months now and that I've been sort of thinking about, and then like a month ago, the idea just sort of struck me and I started planning right away and, contacting people and figuring things out. And then I also had a great opportunity come my way as well that just made all of this come together. So as you can tell from the title of this video, the book club is going to be called the Read in Color Book Club. And the idea behind the title is that we will be reading books by authors of color so that we can, experience new things, read books that we feel represented in, and also learn from other people and cultures. So hopefully this will be a short video, but I'm going to split it up into 3 sections. So one, my reasons for starting this book club and what you can sort of expect. The second is sort of the logistics of how it's going to work, where you can find information, where we're going to have discussions, and the whole structure of the book club. And then a third, I'm going to tell you the first 3 picks for the first 3 months of the book club. So November, December, and January 2022. I'm super excited overall, so let's jump in. So my reasons for starting the book club, I think the number one thing is that I wanted to read with all of you. I've been toying with this idea of having more of a community aspect to my channel. I love hearing your comments on my videos, and I think I love chatting with you guys the most and, learning what you guys are thinking and reading and feeling about the books that you're reading. So I was getting a bit of this when I started my Patreon this month, but I did want to do something a little bit broader, a little bit bigger, and this book club was sort of the answer to that. I wanted to be able to read with you guys during the month and discuss by the end. And so the book club is going to be 1 book per month, and we'll read the book throughout the month. So say November, we're reading 1 book, and at the end of the month or early the next month, we'll have a live show, and it'll also be co-hosted by another person, and I'll get to that in a second. So that is the main reason why I want to start this. I just wanted a sense of community. I wanted to read with you guys, and oftentimes I'm like reading books shortly after you guys have told me to read them, or you guys are picking up books right after I tell you to read them, and so I just wanted to just like sync our timelines and read together. The second reason I wanted to start this book club is kind of what I mentioned when I was talking about the title of it. I wanted to be able to get you guys to read books that you may not necessarily pick up on a regular basis, or uplift, books that I think deserve more love and attention. I think it's true for a lot of us, including me, that we don't really think about the media that we're consuming, whether it's movies, TV shows, or books, and how those things can really affect our worldview and, how we think about ourselves and how we think about others. And I definitely had a moment before starting this channel and around the time of starting this channel where I took a long, hard look at the books I was reading every year and how most of the time, because of the way that diversity is in publishing, I was reading a lot of books by white authors, a lot of books that didn't represent me, didn't represent, my friends, my community. And I think what I want out of this is for you to take a look at the books that you're reading. And for every book that you're reading by a white author, try to pick up a book by an author of color and see how that affects your worldview, how you think about things, how you see yourself and others. And so in order to help you sort of achieve that goal, I want this book club to be that venue to do that. So you can read books by authors of color with me and with other people and feel that sense of community and discuss things that, you may be not sure of, or that you've always wanted to discuss because maybe you've never seen yourself represented in a certain way. I just want that ability for us to just come together in a very wholesome and wonderful community space. All right, and then the third reason I wanted to start this book club is because I wanted to expose all of you to some of the wonderful creators of color in the book community. So whether that's booktubers or bookstagrammers or book Twitter people, there's so many great creators of color who are doing amazing things, and I wanted to help them grow and help them find audiences that might be interested in them and show you guys creators that you might be interested in as well. So for every month of the book club, for each pick for each month, I will be partnering up with a book creator to co-host the live show that I do at the end of the month / beginning of the next one. And they will be reading the book with us and discussing with us. And the book will hopefully also be one that is representative of their own background. So if we are reading a book by a Black author, my hope is that we will also be reading with a Black booktuber as well. You guys know I am South Asian, and I obviously don't know everything about every background, and I cannot speak to some of the lived experiences that other people have, and I think it'll be really great to have some of those perspectives and, you know, opinions and voices in the room while we're discussing. So I'm really excited for that, and I cannot wait for those live shows. Okay, so now that you've heard my reasons, let's get into the logistics of the book club. So as I said, it'll be a monthly book club. We read one book over the course of the month, and there are several ways that we are going to discuss the book and, you know, engage with each other. So the first way is actually through an app called Fable. So Fable was kind enough to partner with me to set up this book club, and I set up the book club on Fable, which is this really awesome app that is sort of like a ebook reading app paired with a book club app. And so on it, you can browse different books that you might want to read and look at discussion guides and all of that, but you can also join a bunch of book clubs as well. There's already a bunch of like influencer-led book clubs on there, including ones by some really great TikTokers. And so on Fable, you can join a book club and read with the, you know, host or moderator of the book club, which will be me. And in the app, it'll show you sort of the schedule of us reading, but you don't necessarily have to stick to that. So I'll have like chapter breakdowns of when you should read certain parts by when, but of course you don't have to stick to that. And it'll also give us the ability to actually chat more in depth about the book. So there is a whole discussion tab to the app, and whether you are reading the book on your own e-reader or a book from the library or a physical book, you can chat in that discussion, you know, thread or forum. But another way you can discuss the book is through buying the book on Fable and reading it on Fable. And what you can do is you can highlight specific passages or quotes in the book and add your comments and discuss that way as well. So I will be doing that. I will have the book on Fable, and I will be highlighting passages that I think are cool as I'm reading it, and, you know, adding little discussion points and thoughts and hoping to get the conversation started there. So yeah, if you're the type of person who really likes text-based conversation and, you know, discussing that way, discussing on Fable throughout the month will be a really great way to join in. All right, and then the second main way we're going to be talking about the books each month is through the live shows that will happen at the end of each month / beginning of the next month. So say we're reading a book in November, at the end of November or early December, I will set up a live show with the co-host for that month, and then it will be live on my channel, and I will announce like the date and time ahead of time. I won't be able to sort of like poll you guys and like adjust the date because it will have to depend on the logistics with the co-host, but hopefully most of you will be able to attend and, you know, chat in the live chat and ask your questions and all of that. But the video will also be available after the live show as well, so you can go watch it even afterwards. All right, and then the third and final way that we are going to be discussing and forming community for this book club is through the social media. So I have created a Twitter and Instagram for the book club. I am not great with Twitter and I don't use it that much, but I will try to post any relevant information there for those of you who use that platform more. But I think most of the conversation will happen on Instagram, so I'll post photos of the books and any graphics and information about the books and do polls for what I think the next book should be. So that's a really great place to, you know, insert your opinion about what the next picks should be, or, you know, what co-hosts we should bring along, and also just, you know, tell me what you're thinking about the current pick of the month. I would also love it if you guys would post your pictures of the book club picks and tag the account so I can repost all of that. I would just love to see all the buzz on your channels as well. All right, and then the last thing in terms of logistics I do want to say is that if you guys want to recommend a book by an author of color or a booktuber, book creator of color, you can definitely do that. You can leave a comment down below on this video or any of the future announcement videos where I announce the next picks. And I will also be trying to announce the picks way ahead of time. So today I'm going to be announcing the first 3 picks, and then in like a month or so I will announce the next 3 after that, or 2 after that, depending on how quickly I can get things organized. But the hope is that you'll know months in advance what the books are going to be, so that you can like put them on hold at the library or find them at the used bookstore, that kind of thing, so that you don't have to spend money on a new book each month. So yeah, definitely go check out the Twitter and Instagram in the description. They're all linked there. I haven't put them on the screen because I'm scared I'm gonna change like the handles or something. So yeah, just go check out the links in the description. And then another thing I want to mention is that all the picks will be a mix of different genres and also a mix of new and old titles. So I want to make sure that I can hit as many people as I can, get the romance readers and the fantasy readers, and also get you guys to read books out of your regular genres or your regular comfort zones. So yeah, we'll be reading fantasy, historical fiction, literary fiction, sci-fi, like everything. And you guys know I have a pretty broad reading taste, and so my hope is that we can get excited about a really wide range of books. And then for the new and backlist titles, So my hope is that, you know, we can do a backlist title anytime, but for anytime we're doing a new book, one that has been released within a year, I'll try to make it so that it's been out for a few months so that it's not as hard to like grab it from the library or a used bookstore, because I just don't want you guys like having to spend a bunch of money each month. And I know everyone's situation is different. And I think that's all of the stuff I need to say. I think I covered everything. Basically, the last thing I want to say is directed to any bookish creators of color. If you are interested and if you would like to co-host with me, there's a form down below in the description where you can apply to become a co-host. In the form, it'll ask you some personal details about like your background and if you're comfortable with sharing that, if you're comfortable being on a live, and also what books you'd like to read for, you know, your month of the book club. I really want to make this more of a collaborative experience, and all the hosts that I've currently got for the next 3 months, I've discussed with them what they want to read and gave them input into the selection so that they had a voice as well. So my hope is that we can do this together. Like, I want the community to come together to do this, and I think it'll just be a really fantastic time. My heart is swelling. I'm so excited by this, and I just cannot wait for all of you to read with me and just for some really fun lives and discussion as well. So that's all the big logistics and like nitty-gritty things that I need to say. Definitely go check out the Twitter and Instagram linked down below, and you know, go sign up on Fable. It's completely free, so you can go discuss there as well. And now let's get into the 3 picks for the next 3 months. All right, so our first Read in Color book club pick for November is Next Year in Havana by Chanel Cleeton. So the reason I picked this book is because 1, it's been on my TBR for a while, and 2, because it came highly recommended by one of my favorite booktubers and someone who I really admire, which is Olivia from Stories for Coffee. So Olivia is actually going to be the co-host for November while we read Next Year in Havana. Olivia herself is Cuban American, and the book follows a Cuban American main character, and Chanel Cleeton is also Cuban American, I believe. So the identities line up, and I know Olivia loves this book, and she'll also have some really insightful things to say about the book as well. For those of you who have never heard of Next Year in Havana, it was also a Reese Witherspoon book club pick before, so some of you may have read it, but hopefully you'll be excited to reread it again with me. But basically the book follows our main character Marisol, who is a Cuban American freelance writer, and she's living in Miami in 2017. And she's grown up on the romantic stories that her grandmother used to tell her, but when her beloved grandmother passes away, she leaves her last wish as wanting to spread her ashes in her home in Cuba. And from there, Marisol travels to Cuba and arrives in Havana and comes face to face with, you know, the beautiful landscape, but also the perilous political climate. And from there, she is digging into the history of her family and meeting a mysterious man with secrets of his own, and just delving into all of that. And the book actually takes 2 timelines. So we are following Marisol in 2017, but we are also following her grandmother in 1958 in Havana. So we're also getting her side of the story directly like during that time. And so I'm just so curious to see how this is going to go. It sounds fantastic. I love this idea of it being a dual timeline mystery and like romance, and I feel like it's just going to be a really interesting one to discuss as well. I feel like it's a book that's going to definitely make me cry, so I'm excited for that as well. And it's also giving me slightly vibes of like The Stationery Shop by Marjan Kamali, which I absolutely loved, in the sort of framework of the narrative, the way that it has like 2 different timelines and like, you know, the love story and a country with perilous political climate. So all of that, loving it, and so excited to read this with Olivia and with all of you. All right, for December, for the chilly winter month, and hopefully when more of you will have time off from work or school, we are going to be reading The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. So this is an adult fantasy, and I basically know nothing about it, which is kind of the way I like to go into my fantasies, but I do know 3 things about it. So 1, it is written by a Black author and it features North African folklore, I believe. The second is that it is a bit of a military fantasy a la the Poppy War. And the third is that it features some sort of sapphic romance, so a girl and girl relationship or romance, and I'm just so excited. Like, that's literally all I need to hear to pick up a book, so I'm super excited to pick this one up. It is a bit of a chonker, I will say that, which is why I sort of wanted it for December as well, and that's also the month that worked out for the co-host. So hopefully you guys will have more time in the holidays to read through this one. But the co-host for December is going to be Mina from Mina Reads, and I absolutely love Mina's channel and all of her recommendations as well. She's a really cool reading taste in the sense that she reads a lot of like romance, but also a lot of like high fantasy, adult fantasy, which I find so fascinating because like adult fantasies are just a lot to get through, I feel like sometimes, but I feel like romances are a lot quicker reads. But she has a really like nice wide range of reading tastes. And she's actually the person who I got the recommendation of Silvia Moreno Garcia from. She read The Beautiful Ones and loved it and talked about it on her Instagram, and I found the book through her and read it and loved it, and now I'm obsessed with Silvia Moreno Garcia, as you guys may know from my recent vlogs. So super excited to be reading with Mina and getting to chat with her at the end of December or early January. All right, and then the last pick that I have to announce today for January 2022, which I can't believe that is so close, is Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. So this is a book that I've had on my radar for a while now. It is a pretty new release, and this is actually the like fancy fairy loot edition, I think. So this cover is a bit different from the American Canadian cover. I'll put it up here for you guys so you can see. So this is a YA fantasy, and it is inspired by the Brothers Grimm, The Six Swans fairy tale, I believe, but it is set in an East Asian inspired fantasy world instead, and the author is actually Chinese American, I believe. But basically this book follows our main character Shiori, who is this young princess, and she ends up in a sticky situation where a really powerful sorceress curses her and turns her brothers into these six crimson cranes, and she banishes Shiori and it tells her that she can never speak a word about this, or for every word that she speaks, one of her brothers will die. And so with that, Shiori is left penniless, voiceless, and alone, left to roam and find a way to save her brothers and reclaim her kingdom, and things just sort of spiral from there. It seems like it's going to be so fun and such a cool book. And so for January, our co-host is going to be Lisa from Remarkably Lisa. So Lisa is a wonderful bookish creator. I actually found her on either Bookstagram or Twitter, I think, and she has beautiful, beautiful photos, and she reads a lot of romance, which is super cool, and a lot of like diverse romance as well. She also has a booktube channel, which you can check out down below. All of the hosts are linked down below, by the way. You should definitely go subscribe to them and check them out and watch their videos. So yeah, I'm excited to have Lisa. I know she usually reads romance, so I'm curious to see what she'll think of this one, but she did say it was on her TBR and that she's excited to read it. So I'm excited to chat with her about it at the end of January / beginning of February, and also to read it with all of you. But those are all the picks for the next 3 months of the Read in Color book club. I think that's all I have to say, but I would love to hear from you guys. You know, are you excited for the book club? Which co-hosts would you like to see? Which books would you like us to read? And out of the 3 picks that I announced today, which one are you most excited for? I'm just so excited that this thing that's been living in my head is finally out in the world, and we all get to chat about books together, books that I really care about and want to see more people read. So yeah, I'm super excited for this, and I hope you are too. Let me know your thoughts down below, and we'll discuss more in the coming months. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. So please remember that this story ain't over. Bye!